Hello and welcome to STRIAS. So in this video lecture, I'll be speaking about British Acts from 1773 to 1935, how they have regulated India or else how they have administered India through this act. So we can expect one question in the prelims from this section, or else from this video we can expect one question. Whatever tough the question paper is, whatever the question paper they give in modern Indian history, it is incomplete without this acts. So without making late, so let us dive into this act. So when we see about British administration, so British came to India as East India Company. So it was managed by 24 court of directors. So this 24 court of directors, they are appointed by shareholders of the company who are in London. And this 24 court of directors are the highest decision making body when it comes to East India Company administration in India. And they are also known as court of proprietors. And they have created some committees to manage day-to-day affairs of the company in India. And India was divided into three presidencies at that point of time. We all know that Bengal, Bombay and Madras. So in Bengal used to have one president and governor in council. So similarly, Bombay also used to have a president and governor in council. Madras also used to have president and governor in council. So what happened is, in meantime, rather than company becoming rich or else getting higher revenues from India, company officials got rich due to corruption or else due to private trade. And we also know that in 1773, Bengal came under British East India Company, and also it has got something called Diwani rights from British Mughal Empire. I mean, like the rulers of Bengal. Fine. So they got revenue collection rights, and also with the help of Treaty of Allahabad in 1765, they have started dual system of administration in Bengal. It means that they have got a revenue collecting rights, and also the Nizamat civil administration was with Nawab at that point of time, but that Nawab was puppet under British. Fine. Then in 1770, what happened is a famine was there, and 1/4 of the Bengal population was cleared off. Then there were corrupt charges on company officials due to private trade. I told that company private officials have become rich rather than the company becoming rich. So what happened is British Parliament has got an opportunity to intervene into this company's affairs. So company has asked for a loan from British Parliament in 1772. They have asked for £1 million loan. Then British Parliament said, okay, we'll give you, but on some conditions. They said that we'll be giving you, but you should pay back, right? So for that, your company needs to be regulated. So we want to pass some act called Regulating Act of 1773. Right? So just remember, in 1600, the British East India Company have come with charter. It was given by Queen Elizabeth. Right? Charter for what? Charter to do trade, which is a monopoly. It means that only East India Company of London can do trade in India and China. Fine. So now the chance has come for British Parliament to regulate British East India Company. So president of company factory at Bengal, first provision what they have changed is, they have changed the president of company factory at Bengal to Governor General of British Indian Territory. Governor General of British Indian Territory. Remember that I have told that 3 Indian provinces are there. In the 3 Indian provinces, each one will be having a president and governor in general. But as of now, they are removing they are making the president of the company's factory at Bengal as Governor General of British Indian Territory. And the remaining presidents who are there in Bombay and Madras, 3 provinces, right? Bengal, Bombay, Madras. So Bengal was made Governor General, and Bombay, Madras were made, presidents were made governors who will be subservient to this Governor General of British Indian Territory. It means that they will be subordinate to this Governor General of British Indian Territory. And also they have given a 4 members council. So Governor General plus 4 members council. So these 4 members were directly appointed by British Crown. So Britain were having a parliament and also a crown. It means that president and prime minister, right? So prime minister from parliament and president is from crown. President is nothing but a crown there. So these 4 members of council used to assist Governor General to make decisions. And whatever the decision should be made, they should be made in majority. It means that, so there are 5 members, right? So from 5 members, at least 3 members should say yes to the decision that to be made. But here we can see that the 4 members who are appointed by Crown, they do not belong to this East India Company, right? They are just appointed by the Crown. It means that they will be thinking about the treasury. They will be thinking about themselves or the Crown to get rich. So they'll be doing favor to the Crown, not to the company. At this point of time, Governor General, who is the member of company, he will be undermined. His role will be undermined here. So this will be the one of the defects of 1773 Regulating Act. So when it comes to private trade, so this was the reason why company has become poor. So they banned the private trade, and also they also said that whatever the company officials are earning through India's trade or is trade in India, whatever the property they are getting, they should submit a report, and that report should be submitted to the Britain Parliament. And also, the act has laid down for the foundation of Supreme Court of Calcutta with Elijah MP as first Chief Justice and also 3 other judges. So the main defect is, first one is Governor General is powerless or his role is undermined. And also, second thing is Supreme Court provisions are very vague. It means that they were not clearly defined. And also, they contested with the judicial authority of Governor General. So here, Supreme Court was having no powers, or else it was contesting. There were 2 swords. It means Governor General will be giving one judicial rule, and also the Supreme Court will be giving one more rule. Fine. Then, despite Bombay and Madras were subordinate, there were no rules like in what matters they should be subordinate, or else how they should be subordinate to Governor General. These things were not made clear. So at that point of time, they didn't listen to decisions made by Governor General in Council. So first Governor General in Council was Warren Hastings. Governor General of Bengal. First Governor General of Bengal. Then to clear the vagueness of Supreme Court, they have brought one more act in 1781, which is called 1781 Amendment Act. It has demarcated the jurisdiction of Supreme Court and Governor. So they said that Governor is superior than Supreme Court, and there will be no double punishment, nothing but double jeopardy. There will be no 2 rules given by Governor separate and Supreme Court separate. Whatever the Governor rules, it will be made as final and superior. And the next act is 1784 Pitt's India Act. So Pitts the Young was a prime minister then. So he led to join through he want to make some provisions which can make company good, or else they want to make a British Parliament strong at that point of time. So he said that there will be a joint rule by British Crown and British East India Company, and the British Crown will be the ultimate authority. So Pitt's India Act made British Crown as ultimate authority regarding East India Company rule in India. Then, so when it comes to British Crown, so British Crown was represented by Board of Control. It was created, and the Board of Control used to have a 6 members headed by Secretary of the State. Secretary of the State was generally a cabinet minister who is responsible to and who will report to British Crown. So British Crown and British East India Company. So British Crown is made superior. British Crown is made superior or the ultimate authority by which act? 1784 Pitt's India Act. British Crown, to make its authority supreme or ultimate, they have created a board called board of control to control the East India Company affairs. So in this board of control, they used to have 6 members headed by the Secretary of State, who is a cabinet minister. When it comes to British East India Company, to make a governor powerful, one council member was removed. So we have seen that Governor General plus 4 council members, and they need 5 votes previously in 1773 Regulating Act. But as of now, Governor General plus 3 members. It means that 4 members are there. They need 2 votes. If 2 votes are there, they need a one casting vote to become a majority. Right. So this casting vote power was given to Governor General. Fine. So earlier Madras and Bombay were mentioned subordinate, but in this act, they have mentioned all the matters in which Madras and Bengal will be subordinate or subservient to Governor General of Bengal, Governor General of British Indian Territory. Right. Then, for the first time, company's positions were called positions of India were called as British possessions. So this was one of the previous year's questions. So in which act, for the first time, company's positions were called as British possessions. Then they have forbade company to interfere with native Indian affairs, and they said that just respect the Indian affairs. So it was just on the paper. Fine. So when it comes to defects of Pitt's India Act, so there was a connection between board of control and board of directors, and they jointly made something called corruption. Right. So this board of control should report to British Crown, and this court of directors were the head of the company, I mean owners of the company, and they used to appoint something called 24 court of directors. Right. I mean 24 members who can see the affairs of company in India. These are the court of directors. They are nothing but they are appointed by the owners of the company. Fine, these 2 members have jointly made some corruption. While British Crown has thought that if we bring the board of control, our members into India, they can control the company. But these controllers who need to control, they have merged with court of directors, and they have started doing corruption. So no effective mechanism to control corruption was there. So just they have spoke about corruption. I mean, they said that no private trade. They said that just you should give a report. I mean, audit report. But there was no mechanism. There was no other body or no other person like anti-corruption unit which was involved into it, and they didn't look after the corruption in India. Once again, governor was made powerless. Fine. So we need 2 plus 1 vote. What if all the 3 members of the governor's council will be on one word and governor will be on one word? Which matter will become a majority? 3 members will become a majority, and governor's power will be undermined. When it comes to Charter Act of 1973, next act. So whatever the charter they have given by the Queen Elizabeth, it have been renewed in 1793 for 20 more years. And 1785, there was one person called Lord Cornwallis. So he said that if I have to become a governor, I will, but only on some conditions. I need some overriding powers. So you said that Governor General plus 3 members in council, and these 3 members are getting together and foregoing all the things and making the Governor General under me. As a person with brain, I don't want this, and I want some overriding powers. So British Crown agreed for this, British Parliament agreed for this, and they have passed the act, and they have given overriding powers to Lord Cornwallis in 1786. Fine. And also they have allowed to increase this act, Charter Act 1793 has allowed to increase the company's profit by 10%, dividend or share by 10%. And it also redefined and reorganized the courts of India. So how they have redefined is previously or earlier, in India we used to have a revenue courts called adalats, and these adalats were abolished or they have got disappeared, and now everything will be taken over by courts in India which are established by British. Then they also said that law should not be made by words, it should be made by written laws. Governance should be made by written laws. And they also said that it should be translated such that into Indian language, such that Indian people will be knowing about these laws. And also, salaries of Governor General will be paid and his council will be paid from Indian revenues. So, which law? 1793 Charter Act. Right? So, the next act will be 1813 Charter Act. So, when it comes to background of this act, so there was Napoleon in Europe and he have made something called continental system. In this continental system, none of the countries who belongs to this continental system should do trade with British. It means that trade with British were banned by Napoleon. And Britain was in last phase of industrialization. It means that many products might be brought into market by industrialists, but they were not sold out. So at this point of time, industrialists have put pressure on British Parliament or British Crown that we don't have a market in Europe. We need some markets in India and China. Already have given a monopoly to China, monopoly to East India Company. How we should survive? So they have created pressure on the government. So government have made this act. So company's charter was extended for 20 more years through this 1813 Charters Act, but it has ended the company's monopoly. So this was the question, previous year question. Company's monopoly in trade was ended by 1813 Act, except free trade with China and India. So they have said that now all other companies can enter India, but free trade only should be done by East India Company, and they have renewed the charter for 20 more years till 1833. And they have allowed the Christian missionaries to spread the Christianity in India. So this also thing you should be remembering. And they have said that through 1813 Charter Act, 1 lakh from Indian revenues for the promotion of education among Indian subjects should be utilized, but this was not made because there was debate whether English education should be given or the education should be given in mother tongue, that is Orientalist type of education, and this will be cleared by Lord Macaulay in 1833. Then local governments were allowed to impose taxes, but those local governments which are under Supreme Court jurisdiction were only allowed to impose taxes. So you should remember local governments who are allowed to impose taxes, but those local governments should be under Supreme Court jurisdiction to impose taxes. Fine. So the next act will be Charter Act of 1833, and this act is also called as St. Helena Act. So it has completely ended the monopoly of the company. So tea trade with India and China, which should only be done by East India Company, that also has been removed, and it has made a legal colonization of India. It means that any company like East India Company can come into India and can do trade with India. That can be done only by the British companies. Then one legislative member was added to Governor in Council. Governor General plus Council was there. So in Council we used to have 3 members. Now we have legislative member. He don't have a power to vote. The first legislative member was Macaulay, Lord Macaulay, and he was member who was appointed to make a first Indian Law Commission. The purpose he was appointed, or this legislative member was added to council with governor in general, is to codify Indian Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code in India. So we have seen that 1830 Act, the written law should govern the country, but 1833 Act said that we should codify IPC and CRPC. For that we need Indian Law Commission headed by a legislative member, Lord Macaulay, who will be part of Governor General in Council, but he won't be having any vote. Then Section 87 of 1833 Act, which has said that education and employment of Indians in British services should be made. So education and employment of Indian subjects. is spoken by 1835 Act. 1813 Charter Act has given 1 lakh revenues from Indian revenues, 1 lakh from Indian revenues to educate Indian masses, but it didn't clarify. But Section 87 also said about employment, education and employment. Then free admission into administration without discrimination. It is nothing but about this only. There should be no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, place of birth and descent. And it also recommended Haileybury College in London to make a quota for the future civil services from India. Fine. First time they have spoke about Indian civil services in 1833 Charter Act. So Governor General of Bengal was made Governor General of India. So this point you should note down. So Governor General of Bengal was made a Governor General of India for the first time through 1833 Charter Act. Why? No years enough. Anyone can do trade. Fine. So 1833 Act removed the monopoly of British East India Company. Now the Governor General of Bengal will be made Governor General of India, and the William Bentinck is the first person to become Governor General of India. And he'll be having a veto in everything. He is most powerful. He was made most powerful, and only court of directors can disapprove his action. So this court of directors of East India Company, only these people can disapprove his action, and no others in India. I mean, council. There is a council, right? There is a council, and also there is a legislative member. They cannot override his position or his decisions. And this act of spoke about upliftment of slaves in India, and also it also spoke about split of Bengal presidency. So Bengal at that point of time was from Agra, Awadh, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Bengal. So this Bengal was split into two, and this was made an Agra presidency, and this is a Bengal presidency. And while drafting any law, the rights of the heads of Indian families needs to be taken into consideration, and the marriage laws should be respected. Marriage laws of India need to be respected. It was given by this Act of 1833. The first and the last act before 1858, the Crown enters India, is Charter Act of 1853. So it has renewed the charter of EIC to make EIC can still do trade in India, but it didn't specify any time. It means that very soon company will be asked to leave from India or wind up from India. So its operations, administrative operations can any time be stopped. It means that Governor General of India will at any time will be removed, who is a member appointed by Court of Directors. So previously in 1833 Act, commercial operations were winded up. Only administrative operations were run by East India Company, that too through Governor General of India. So it reduced Court of Directors numbers. So previously 24 members were there. Now they have become 18. In that 18 also 6 were nominated by Crown. So we can see that slowly the Crown is increasing the number and reducing the power of Court of Directors and East India Company. Then separation of Executive Council with Legislative Council. So the new 6 member, I mean like Governor General of India was there, then Executive Council was there. I mean council, I used to speak council, right? It was an Executive Council. Then I said that Legislative Council, one member was added, who is nothing but Mekele. Now new members were added, and this Legislative Council was having 6 members. So this Legislative Council in future, it will become Central Legislative Council and Provincial Legislative Council. And this, from the 6 new members in the Legislative Council also, there will be 4 members from the local governments. Local government means not Indian governments, not Indians. It will be from Bombay Presidency, Madras Presidency, Calcutta Presidency and Agra Presidency, each from one presidency. And to become the member, to nominate for this post, the member should have worked for 10 years in the service of the company. And so entry of they have this act have spoken about entry of Indians into covenanted Indian services through the exam. So exam was conducted and first Indian to become Indian covenanted services officer was Satyendranath Tagore. Then Queen's Proclamation 1858 Government of India Act comes after First War of Independence in 1858. So Queen has proclaimed that there will be no conquest from now, and rights of princely states will be respected, and traditions and culture of Indians will be respected. Indians will be given representation in administration. Then it also when it comes to the provisions, Governor General of India now has become Viceroy of India. So Governor General of India has become Viceroy of India, and this Viceroy of India is representative of British Crown in India, and he is also a administrative head of India. So now no East India Company Viceroy should is a direct representative of British Crown. And in Britain there is one thing called British Parliament also, right? So this British Parliament will be sending one person called Secretary of the State. So previously Board of Control was there. Board of Control was controlled by or headed by Secretary of the State. Now this Secretary of the State, with the help of 15 members in council, in future which it becomes central and provincial legislative assembly. So they will be helping Viceroy in the administration of India. So previous legislative council, executive council, everything will be abolished. Now Secretary of the State with 15 members council along with Viceroy will be governing India. Then power shifted from EIC to Pro, and the rule of the crown begins with 1858 Act. As the Queen and British Parliament were lacking time because of 1857 Act, they have made it very short. But those provisions need to be expanded, right? For 1858 Act, provision need to be expanded. So they were expanded in Council Act of 1861. So they have said that inclusion of Indians into rule making process will be happening, and also those members from India will be added as non-official members into the council. Which council? Central, or it is also called as Imperial Legislative Council. So Viceroy plus council, 15 member council, right? So in the 15 member council, they'll be adding 3 more non-official members who are Indians. We are making you the part of rule making process, but you are non-official members, and you'll be having no vote, and the tenure of each person will be 2 years. And who are the 3 members? Raja of Benares, Raja of Patiala, and Sir Dinakar Rao. Then they also said that Viceroy will be going with portfolio system. It means that Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs. So this is called portfolio system. For everything, there will be one minister or one person who will be taking care of that whole department and will be reporting to Viceroy. And Viceroy will be having veto on emergency matters. He can override the decision of council only on emergency matters. Sorry. So Viceroy can issue ordinances on emergency matters. This act has called for the establishment of provincial legislative councils. So previously we used to have central legislative councils. So in central legislative council, 15 members, official members plus 3 non-official members. Now this act also said for provincial legislative council, and simultaneously this was created in Bengal, Punjab, Northwest Frontier Province, and Awadh. Till 1892 they have created all this provincial legislative councils. Then Indian Council Act of 1892. So it has increased non-official members. There is nothing but Indians in that council, and three number was increased from 3 to 5. Previously, we used to have in central council, we used to have 3 members, non-official members, right? Now we'll be having 5 non-official members, and these non-official members can ask questions on budget. But to ask the question, we should give prior notice before 6 days, and they cannot ask the supplementary questions. If you ask a question by giving a notice before 6 days, and those official members in the council from the 15 members, if they give the answer, you cannot ask the question again. That is supplementary question, questioning their answers. It was there in 1892 Act. Then these members were indirectly elected, non-official members. These 5 members were indirectly elected, but the word election was not mentioned anywhere in the 1892 Indian Council Act. The next act will be Indian Council Act of 1909. Fine. So we'll just look at the background, because this year it will be important, and they might ask question from the background on which 1909 Act was built upon. So in 1906, Gopal Krishna Gokhale have given a speech about educated Indians associated with administration. So he said that we are educated now. In 1909, we are educated. There are many educated Indians who are moderates. You should involve them into administration. You should involve into administration of our country. Why you are not involving? It was the speech given by Gopal Krishna Gokhale. And 1909, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan have brought something called Aligarh movement, Aligarh Muslim movement, and he want to make Muslims to join the, like to become a literate people and to get more liberalized. And in 1909, Aga Khan will be demanding political representation, separate political representation, not about number of Muslims in India. So he'll be telling that the volume of support the Muslims are giving to the British. So remember that it is not all the Muslims they have done done it. So it is only some politicians which they have done this, right? So then there will be one person called Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales. He will be visiting India, and this prince will be suggesting to Morley. So Morley was Secretary of the State. So he will be suggesting to Morley that British administration in India should be run on sympathy lines. So based on this, there will be one act passed. So that act is called Morley Minto Reforms, and it is also called as Indian Council Act of 1909. So Morley was not willing to give a separate electorate for Muslims, but it was Minto who thought that we should divide Indians on religious lines so that we can administer Indians easily. And he was the person who made a separate communal electorate for Muslims. So separate communal electorate for Muslims is nothing but the voters and competitors for the seat will be only from Muslim community, and all the people will be remained silent. And there is increase of Indians in central and provincial legislative councils, non-official members, and some of them were elected through electoral college. So when it comes to electoral college, it was purely on income based. If you are a teacher, if you are a businessman, if you are an educated person, you will be a part of electoral college. So they also said that the members, Indians, will be allowed to vote on budget and vote on separate budget items, and also can discuss the budget and also can ask supplementary questions. And the first Indian member was added to Viceroy's Executive Council. He was Satyendra Prasad Sinha. Then Government of India Act 1919. It is also called as Montague-Chelmsford reforms. It also have increased number of Indians, but introduced diarchy in provinces. It means that in provinces like Bengal, Bombay, Madras, now we'll be having two executives. One is a popular minister elected by the people, and also one will be a governor. So the list also the act also has given a way for two subjects called reserved subjects and transferred subjects. Reserved subjects will be under governor, which are the important subjects: finance, law and order, land revenue, irrigation. All the important subjects will be under governor, and whatever the subjects which are not belonging to finance or emergency will be under transferred subjects, which is under popular minister. And if any failure of constitutional machinery in the province, the governor will take all the powers. Fine. And when it comes to background of this 1919 Montague came forward reforms. So it was a Lucknow Pact. So in Lucknow Pact, what happens is Indian National Congress and Muslim League will come together and will be demanding for the self-rule in India. And also there was one movement called home rule movement which will be happening. So Tilak will be going to jail and Annie Besant will be arrested at the point of time. Many people will be revolting against British. So under the influence of World War I, they need help of Indians. 1914 to 1918, Indians have helped them in World War I. So at that point of time, they need to do something. So that simple thing they will be telling that we are increasing the number of Indians. And also they said that to make it more complex or to make it look good or beautiful, they said that there will be diarchy in provinces, which will be having popular minister and governor. And to keep the power with them, they have given more powers to governor by giving the reserved subjects, nothing but finance, law and order, land revenue and irrigation, which are the main subjects to administer the state. And they have introduced bicameral legislature in the center. So more number of Indians means more people should be there to discuss, right? So in central level and provincial level. In provincial level, they have brought something called diarchy, popular minister and governor. In central level, they have brought something called bicameral legislature. Two houses. One is upper house and another one is lower house. So lower house will be having members with 3 years tenure, and upper house were having 68 members. And in the lower house, out of 145 members, 41 members were nominated and 104 members were elected directly. Then they have extended the separate electorate to Sikhs and Christians. So in 1909, they have given a separate electorate to Muslims. Now the separate electorates were given to Anglo-Indians, I mean Christians who were there in India, and also the Sikhs. Then voting rights for women was given as a provision, but it should be decided by the provincial governments. Then ministers will be responsible to legislature, but on the executive council, which is headed by Governor General, nothing but Viceroy. Right? And then the last act which we'll be discussing in this video is Government of India Act. So this act, many of the provisions from this act were added into Indian Constitution. So the main background of this act was a Simon Commission was constituted to recommend and review the previous acts and to bring the constitutional governance in India. But the major thing happened here is none of the Indians were there in the Simon Commission. So 3 roundtable conferences which were happened before 1935, the Simon Commission recommendation, a white paper reports, joint self-committee recommendations. Based upon all this, Government of India Act 1935 was passed. And this Government of India 1935 Act has called for All India Federation. This provision was given. The provision was about All India Federation. So half of the princely state must give their consent to join the All India Federation, but it didn't become operational because there were some more rules, which means that the population should be this much, and half of the princely state should give their consent to join the federation. So why they will join? So it was to make to late. I mean to delay our independence. They have made this. So All India Federation is nothing but everything under one government. Princely states and the British will be ruling all the princely states and all the provinces. That is nothing but a federation. Then removed the hierarchy from provinces. So previously in central level, bicameral legislature was there, and in provincial level they have introduced diarchy. Now this diarchy was removed by 1935 Government of India Act, and they have added this diarchy at central level. So they have removed diarchy at provincial level, and they have added diarchy at central level. Now upper house and lower house will be there at central level. Fine. And bicameral legislature was introduced in 6 out of 11 provinces, and this bicameral legislature now they will be adding into provincial governments, I mean provinces. Okay, so just remember central, provincial. So bicameral legislature previously added, provinces used to have diarchy. Now they have brought this diarchy here, and they have eliminated this here. They have brought this bicameral here in 6 out of 11 provinces. Okay, they didn't cancel this. Bicameral legislature is also there, and diarchy also is there. Diarchy is nothing but there will be minister, prime minister, and viceroy. And when it comes to bicameral legislature, upper house and lower house. And 6 provinces in which bicameral legislature was introduced was UP, Bihar, Odisha, Madras, Bombay, and Bengal. And provincial federal concurrent lists were created. In India, we can see now as central lists, state lists, concurrent lists. Right? Union list, state list, concurrent list. It was taken from 1935 Government of India. And they have created a federal court, nothing but Supreme Court of India. They have created a Federal Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commission, nothing but Union Public Service Commission as of now, and State Public Service Commissions. These provisions were taken by 1935 Government of India Act. Then Federal Bank of India, today we call it as Reserve Bank of India. Federal Railways, that's why Railways is under Union list as of now. Right? Then separate electorate for women were brought here. So first announced in 1919 Act, but it was brought in, I mean, like voting for women was given in, I mean, like they have spoken in 1919 Act, but he in 1935 Act they brought the separate electorate for women, and there was a Pune Act. There was they have tried to bring the separate electorate for depressed classes also, but due to Pune Act between Gandhi and Ambedkar, this separate electorate for depressive classes were amended. So this is all about the acts from 1773 to 1935. We can expect one question in prelims from this area for sure. Hope you have got some good content, and this content can be utilized to get that one question in prelims from modern Indian history. Hope you have liked this. Please do revise, then only you can remember the things. Please do make some mind maps also. So if you really got benefited from this video, please do like, share and subscribe. And thanks for watching.